She married a cold CEO after betrayal. He took her for granted until... Chapter 1. The Breakup. Separation, betrayal, and standing up for oneself. In the high-pressure environment of exam season, Emily had spent months quietly helping her boyfriend, Charles, study for his career-defining tests. She believed in their shared future, having held on to his promise that once he passed, they would marry and build a home together. Instead, Charles called her out to end things. Standing beside him was Mandy, his first love, alongside Charles's snobbish sister. "I said we're breaking up," Charles stated coldly. "There's no need for a why. Mandy and I never really broke up. We were just forced apart when her father disapproved. Now that I passed my exams and she stood by me, her father has given us his blessing." Mandy's sister sneered at Emily. "Do you really think an orphan with no background like you counts as anything? Unless someone is mentally ill or disabled, who would ever marry you? Charles was just using you as a study buddy while he was heartbroken." Charles nodded, offering no defense. "Emily, what we had was never love. I thought you were easy to fool, but you turned out to be a total prude. We barely even held hands. Let's just part amicably." Mandy stroked her stomach with a triumphant smile. "Besides, I'm already pregnant with Charles's baby." Emily felt the sting of their betrayal, but her pride refused to let her break down in front of them. "Fine. We can break up. But you must clearly state right now that I was never the other woman, that she is the one who intervened in our relationship." When Mandy burst into insults, calling her names and mocking her orphan background, Emily stepped forward and delivered a sharp slap across Mandy's face. "Since you're pregnant, I won't touch you further," Emily said, turning her icy gaze to Charles. "So every time she spouts an insult about me or the orphanage, you get a slap instead. If you don't clear this up right now, I'll go straight to your new office. Your probation won't survive it." Cornered, Charles panicked. "Fine. When Emily Winters and I were together, I was single. During the time we were dating, I was the one who let her down. We're done here," Emily said, turning on her heel and walking away into the cold afternoon. Chapter 2. A Chance Encounter. An unexpected meeting and a proposal. Walking down the street, Emily bumped her nose against a solid chest. Overwhelmed by the emotional toll of the morning, tears welled in her eyes. "Are you okay?" "I'm so sorry," a deep, controlled voice asked. A tall man in a tailored suit looked down at her. Realizing she was shivering, he unbuttoned his high-quality wool coat and draped it over her shoulders. "I don't need it," Emily murmured, wiping her face. "You'd better keep it on," he insisted gently before stepping away into a waiting car. Holding the jacket tightly, Emily wiped her nose. "I swear, I'm not crying over the breakup," she muttered to herself. "I just want a home. Someone who has never been loved. How could I understand what love is supposed to be?" Later that afternoon, Emily picked up 3 fresh lilies, paying $20 for individual stems to save money, and visited Harborview Medical Center. She was visiting Grandpa Quinn, an elderly patient who frequented the nursing home where Emily taught calligraphy. "Grandpa Quinn, these are for you," Emily said, placing the 3 lilies on his bedside table. "You shouldn't have," the old man beamed, admiring her grace. Grandpa Quinn had been faking the severity of his illness just to escape a feud at the nursing home, but looking at Emily, her poise, her patience, and her talent, he formed a bold plan. "Emily, marry my grandson," Grandpa Quinn blurted out. Emily froze. "Grandpa Quinn, you don't know me. I grew up in an orphanage. I don't have a wealthy family, a background, or even $10,000 to my name." "I don't care about background. I care about character," Grandpa Quinn declared. "You write beautiful seal script and grow white orchids. You have a resilient spirit. If you marry our Lucas, we will all be your family." Emily thought about her life, 26 years of fighting for stability alone, and the painful relationship that had just ended. "If I agree to marry him, I have one request. I need to borrow $200,000. I'll pay it back every month with interest from my salary. Borrow? Take it as a bride price. No, it must be a loan, Emily insisted softly. And if he is willing, I want to register our marriage today. I don't want a long relationship with no security anymore. Chapter 3, The Marriage License. A practical arrangement between strangers. At the Civil Affairs Bureau, Emily met her new husband for the first time. Standing before her was the same man who had offered her his coat earlier that day, Lucas Quinn, a sharp, prominent corporate lawyer in Harborview. Hello. I'm Lucas Quinn, he said, extending a hand. Grandpa sent me here to get our marriage license. Hello. Nice working with you, Emily replied. Have you thought this through? Lucas asked calmly as they waited for their number to be called. Once we get the license, divorce requires a cooling-off period. I have, Emily answered firmly. If you have no plans for divorce, neither do I. After signing the documents and receiving their marriage certificate, Lucas handed her a key card and a slip of paper. I have to go out of town for a case tonight. Here is my address, the door passcode, and the access card. Move in whenever you're ready. Emily packed her few belongings from her rundown rental unit, thanked her elderly landlady who insisted on returning her deposit, and took a taxi to Bayview Gardens, one of the most exclusive high-rise communities in the city. The building manager escorted her up to the apartment. Opening the door, Emily realized the scale of Lucas's wealth, a pristine, single-unit high-rise apartment with panoramic city views, high-end minimalist decor, and a single master bedroom. Unbeknownst to her, Lucas remained skeptical. Having transferred $200,000 to her upon his grandfather's request, he wondered if Emily was an opportunistic woman taking advantage of an elderly man's fondness. Yet, her quiet, modest demeanor kept him from jumping to conclusions. Chapter 4, Coexistence. Navigating life in a shared space. When Lucas returned late the next evening, he found Emily asleep on the sofa in the living room, fully dressed, having left the master bedroom untouched. Why didn't you sleep in the bed? Lucas asked, waking her gently. You weren't back yet. I didn't want to touch your things, she admitted softly. Lucas looked at her for a long moment. We're married now. There's no yours or mine. There's only one bedroom here for now, so we'll just share the bed. The next morning, Emily offered to pay her fair share. Lucas, I know your financial situation is much better than mine. I can't help with a mortgage yet, but I want to cover utilities, internet, and groceries. If you want me to share the mortgage eventually, I will. Lucas observed her closely. She took $200,000, yet she's offering to pay for groceries? Is she playing hard to get, or is she genuine? Why did you marry me? He asked directly. I just wanted a home, Emily said simply. As the husband, it's my duty to provide financial support, Lucas said, setting a grocery cart on the counter. Keep your salary for yourself. I got married to please my grandfather and to block unwanted matchmakers. You don't need to worry about household expenses. That afternoon, they visited Grandpa Quinn and Lucas's family. Emily prepared a simple, comforting meal of steamed base and Willow Valley-style cabbage soup. Watching her move around the kitchen with quiet efficiency, Lucas felt a sudden, unexpected sense of warmth in the quiet apartment. When Grandpa Quinn pulled Lucas aside, he warned his grandson, Emily has had a hard life, but her heart is pure. Don't ever look down on her, and never measure her feelings with money. Chapter 5, Professional Realities. Standing ground at work and discovering connection. Emily worked as an associate conservator at the Harborview Museum, specializing in ancient calligraphy, silk restoration, and delicate artifacts. At the office, coworkers like Megan often tried to push heavy workloads onto her or make passive-aggressive comments about her background. However, Emily's exceptional skill caught the attention of the department supervisor and senior professors. When a set of damaged ancient paintings and wooden artifacts arrived, Emily stepped up to handle the most intricate clay modeling and restoration tasks without complaint. Unknown to her, the museum director, Yara Quinn, was Lucas's sister-in-law. When Yara dropped by the conservation lab with snacks sent by the Quinn family, she noticed Emily working meticulously under the desk lamps. That evening, Lucas picked Emily up from work. Driving home through the city lights, the initial coldness between them began to thaw. "My sister-in-law mentioned seeing you at the museum," Lucas said quietly as he navigated the traffic. "She speaks very highly of your work." Emily looked out the window, holding her hands neatly in her lap. "I just do my job." Later that evening, while stopping near a local restaurant, Emily spotted a young waiter carrying heavy trays. Her expression shifted immediately. It was her younger brother, Jason, the reason she had borrowed the $200,000. She had sent him abroad for his advanced studies, using the funds to secure his tuition and living expenses so he wouldn't have to sacrifice his future. Seeing her brother working a temporary shift before his flight, Emily realized that despite the chaotic start to her marriage, she was finally building a foundation to protect the people she cared about. And as Lucas watched her handle her life with quiet resilience, his initial doubts began to disappear entirely.